is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 92. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E, a.k.a. Lee James, a.k.a. Sebastian Drew, E.C., a.k.a. Easterdamus, a.k.a. Pap E. O'Daniel, a.k.a. The Fashionista, a.k.a. Chili Willie, a.k.a. Joe E. Chestnut, a.k.a. Ian Stonkel. E, I feel like just maybe to try to break this losing streak, or rather winless streak that Austin FC has going here, the Wind Dome, if you will. You know, we talk about the Rain Dome over Austin. Really feels like there's a Wind Dome over Austin FC at the moment. Maybe we just have to drop the Easterdamus name from the intro because, you know, you ain't predicting shit right now.
It would be the easiest time to predict things, obviously, for this team. Just predict losses or draws and go from there. But, look, I'm fine dropping it. Get rid of it. The Easterdamus meme hasn't played out the way we initially thought it would. So might be time to retire it, and I'm fine with that.
Yes. The success rate has dipped considerably since the middle of the summer. This episode getting into last night's match against New York Red Bulls. Gonna preview the Diego Derby coming up here on Sunday. Galaxy coming to town Sunday night. We will also talk to our latest guest. The legendary Pollo is going to stop by the pod along with Pollo FC and the Fighting Leslie's Drinking Club. We'll hit on last business day, decision day in MLS Next Pro coming up on Sunday. Playoff seeding, positioning on the line for FCTO. And, of course, we'll close it out with the nonsense. The nonsense has been maybe the most positive part of our Austin FC experience over the last 2 months at this point. I think 69 days now since the last win, since the last 3 points. I don't know. Hopefully this podcast doesn't feel that long because not a ton of good stuff here at the top. Let's go ahead and jump in. Taking a look at the lineup, and I guess, again, these days we need to start with the injury report. We thought, clearly just being too optimistic all around here. Yeah. We thought maybe Lundqvist, maybe Matt Hedges able to get out there and suit up, or Kip Keller. We need all hands on deck on the back line. Not to be. All of those guys remained out on Wednesday. We were also, of course, missing Will Bruin with that in the concussion protocol, and then Julio Cascante suspended on yellow card accumulation. And the team, congrats to Captain Joe from Austin FC2. He did get a short-term loan agreement, was active on the bench for the first team yesterday. Didn't ultimately see any action, but I think a little bit of recognition there for the captain of our 2 team. And to be honest, man, like if he would have got out there last night, I don't know if I'm feeling any worse. He's been so solid down there. He's, 25 years old, can handle himself. So congrats to him on that opportunity. And shit, man, what's going to happen on Sunday if we have the same injury situation? I think we need him on the bench for the first team, but Cito needs him too.
Yeah, I don't know. It was good to see him on the bench. That was cool. They showed him a couple of times or just caught him in the background there. It was nice to see him. So definitely a big shout out to him. Yeah, I wouldn't have felt great if he came in the game. That's for sure. He, although, man, the way that lineup shook out and the way that formation looked and the amount of times we had to change it to try to rectify what we were doing out there, I'm just glad that we don't have to play this Red Bulls team too often because it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear the leaf blowers that have started to run right outside of the North End studios here. Hopefully that ambient noise. Obviously, if you're still with us here in the North End podcast on episode 92, the ambient noise now and then does not bother you, does not turn you away.
Doesn't deter you from listening to about your club.
Yeah. So looking at what we did roll out there, to be honest, man, I think in the group chat, what I said or you said and I agreed with, don't quite remember. the fact that we had Stuver, Ring, Leo, Gally, Lima, Johan, Danny, Emmy, Owen, Seba, Maxi. This is a lineup strong enough to beat that Red Bulls team, even on the road, in my eyes. And again, getting a point on the road, nothing exists in a vacuum. But in a vacuum, getting a point on the road at Red Bull is a good result. But we need 3 points at this point of the season. And I thought this team should have gotten 3 with this lineup. What were your initial impressions? Because I definitely did not have kind of what you alluded to. The way this team lined up last night, I was not expecting that.
No, I was not expecting that either. I mean, I got what I wanted with Alex and Leo being paired at the center backs there because I felt like we were going to need some more ball skill to be able to handle this press. But we were unable to handle the press, at least to what I thought we should have been able to. We looked disjointed on the right side with Nikki and Johnny. And that's probably just a lack of reps with Nikki and Johnny on that side. And Owen at left wing back, I think. Yeah,
so it was definitely the 5-back. Austin was defending in a 5-3-2, and then Johnny and Owen, like you mentioned, Owen playing left wing back was the big surprise here. And look, I get with the way you want to attack, or this club wants to attack Red Bull, or lack of attack, rather. We know that they've implemented a similar strategy to this, even at the academy levels. Like when we had Coach Olivares on right after or during the GA Cup run, they were taking on the U15 Red Bull side, and he said, they play the same type of, as they call it, the energy drink soccer, that high press, just kind of running all over the pitch and willing to concede possession to put pressure on their opponent and try to capitalize off those mistakes. Coach Olivares told us before that match, we're going to try to let them have the ball because they don't want it, and make them kind of play a different style. And I think that was very clearly the idea here. And also getting away from playing out of the back so much every time, right? We saw a lot of attempts at playing that ball long over the top, long on the ground, and in the first half especially, there was little to no success. And when you don't have that, combined with the turnovers we did have in the first half when trying to play it out of the back, you could put most of our starters out there. I don't know if we're going to find much success just with the way we played in that first half.
I mean, I'm just never a fan of allowing another team to completely dictate the pace of a game, no matter what sport we're talking about, to dominate the style of play, to dictate how this game is going to be played, and to take us completely out of what we do. Like, I understand that there was opportunities to take shots up the side of the field and to play some long balls, but that's really just not what we're good at. Not that we're good at a lot of things right now, but like we haven't done that all season successfully. And I just am never a fan, particularly when the other team is consistently being the aggressor in the situation.
Sure.
Because it changes the way that games are officiated. It changes the way that you want to play. And you have to be able to have some semblance of your structure, your skeleton that you're going to work out of. So I was not a huge fan of what we were trying to do last night. It was an ugly game. It was a hectic game. But with all that being said, you can't be too upset with just the point. You really can't.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into this first half here because, like you mentioned earlier, like there are adjustments that come, and so let's discuss those as well along the way. To finish off that bench, Captain Joe, like I said, was there. Memo, Brandon Craig, CJ, Hector, Ethan Finley, Jossie Zardes, Rodney Redis appearance, and then Damian Loss again. And I think we kind of glossed over Damian Loss being the backup keeper against Portland on the last episode. That's 2 matches in a row. So I don't know if Matt Bersano is injured or what have you. Or if the club is just kind of saying, hey, we're going to bring Damian Loss up. We feel like he has a higher profile going forward with this club, and we want to give him the opportunity to be the backup with the first team. Either way, okay, like I'm with it. But if it is Damian passing Matt Bersano in the depth chart, I do feel for Matt because the life of these backup goalkeepers. Obviously, we've seen it with Tarbs now in Houston as a backup there as well. Like it can't be easy. This is not like your backup quarterback where you're still a top 10 paid player on your team if you're in the NFL and you don't have to go take the hits and stuff and such. I can imagine it's frustrating for Matt if that's what's going on. So I definitely feel for that situation.
I totally understand if he's frustrated. Still happy for Damian to get those 2 call-ups there. Obviously we've seen a ton of Damian. We've had great moments with Damian because we follow the FCTO team so much and haven't seen Bersano once. So it's just like, how can I judge what's going on there and how we're going to make that change? But I mean, to your point about being a backup keeper, that's part of Stuver's ascension and growth. And, if Matt wants to be a good keeper in this league, I think he has the ability to do so. Just, you got to take a different journey sometimes, different path.
Yeah. And from purely my Austin FC fan standpoint, I think I want to see Damian be our backup.
I agree. Because
regardless of us not seeing Bersano play in an Austin uniform, like we know Damian's got that ceiling. He's got that potential, and he's younger. He's younger.
Yeah.
He's
a better prospect.
On a supplemental spot, doesn't count against the cap, all those things that come along with Damian. So just an interesting situation to continue to monitor as we wind out the regular season. Second minute here, off an Austin throw, Frankie Amaya gets to the loose ball, and he pops it over the top. And Väisänen has position, but I think there's a clear miscommunication between he and Brad here, where I think he thought Brad was maybe going to come out and get this ball. Brad very clearly hanging back in the area, and Manuel beats Leo. And you can see on the replay, Leo is frustrated in the moment, like, hey, what the hell? Like, Brad, I thought you would come out here. So Manuel gets into a very dangerous area on the ball outside the 18. Stuver's off his line. He tries to chip him, and luckily for us, it goes just wide. But crisis averted to start the game. It doesn't take much more until we just, do it to ourselves here.
I mean, it was incredibly fortunate that he just whiffs this attempt at the goal because it's wide open. I don't know what Leo was thinking here. Initially, I thought, okay, he just got smoked. Like the Manuel guy was much faster.
He's not that slow though, right?
No, but like still, that ball was not, didn't have enough pace to where it was going to get to Stuver where he can get his hands on it. So it was almost a disaster start.
Yep. Well, and 5 minutes later, 7th minute here, John Gallagher pokes the ball away from Luquinhas. But the official, Nima Sagafi, who I thought he did a pretty good job on the night, kind of controlling things and had a good whistle. And this one was close. I think it could have gone either way. I'm not too upset about that foul being called. John didn't like it, but Tolkien and Amaya stand over that, and Tolkien delivers over the top. So this was set up on the left, all the way over to the right side of the 6. And Dante Van Zier is alone there, and he just one-times it, volleys it out of the air towards the goal. Actually, not even towards the goal. This is going wide left of the target. But Austin's back line is tracking back at that point, and Rigoni is there. And so Rigoni is right in the path of that wayward shot attempt. And he tries to knock it away, but that ball was coming in with a lot of pace. I just don't think he had the time to properly react, and he knocks it into the back of the net. So down 1-0, 7 minutes in.
Tough. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he could have potentially done there. It just unfortunate. I mean, and we got fortunate in the 2nd minute. So to me, it evened itself out because we definitely should have got scored on in the 2nd minute. I'm
with you there. Right after the restart, you get a yellow card for Daniel Edelman. Almost said Julian Edelman in NFL mode at this time of the year. And man, was he going after Sagafi. Like I was, again, this is, talking, man. Again, This is where just the difference for me from hoops to soccer, where you can get away with that type of stuff, especially as such a young player. Like you don't get that type of respect from the officials.
And this is a hard team to officiate, this Red Bull team. Like they're a hard club to officiate. And that's part of the reason why I am so against allowing another team to dictate everything that is going on in the game. Because after a while, if the aggressive team, the aggressors are continuously forcing action, continuously forcing physicality, the ref eats his whistle after a little while. And like this team leads the league in fouls, but this team leads the league in fouls. And at the end of this game, we do end up 15-15 on the fouls. But in the beginning of this game, it was like 9-3 fouls on Austin. And that usually happens when the aggressor is out there playing hard like that and you are sitting back and, just kind of absorbing the pressure and not putting it forward on them. So they're a hard team to officiate, and it's just another wrinkle to their style of play that is advantageous to what they do. Yeah.
11th minute here. Ball gets deflected near the Austin area, and it jumps up and hits Johnny in the arm. So handball was correctly called there. Van Zier this time stands over it with Tolkien just outside, kind of the same spot, maybe a few yards closer than where the previous free kick was delivered. And Van Zier smashes it into the wall. It pops up high in the air. And so Danny and him kind of come together going for this ball as it comes down. And Danny undercuts him. And Van Zier looks like he might have cracked his tailbone right there. He comes down extremely hard and ends up coming out of the game for Omir Fernandez. No foul was called there. And, man, I think for me to have consistency on this pod,
I'm waiting.
That's not only a foul, that's a yellow card.
Yeah. No? I was interested to see how you were gonna.
This isn't our only one either.
I know there was multiple ones this game, and I don't even think this is the most dangerous one. But yeah, that's a foul. That's a yellow card to me. I don't know what. I mean, it has to just be the trajectory of the way these guys are jumping, and Van Zier going more this way, while Danny's trying to go straight up, but he's already beat. Like he's not going to be able to beat him up in the air, like to the ball in the air. So. Kind of turns his back, dangerous play, but look, man, it happened to the right guy. Fuck Dante.
Yeah, fuck that guy. And so I think to your point, like maybe if like Danny has established position there and Van Zier, like you said, is kind of coming at an angle and he's the one attacking the ball where Danny has already kind of, stood his ground there for lack of a better term. But 22nd minute here, this is right in the midfield, challenging for a long ball. Seba upends Andres Reyes, and the foul is called this time. And man, again, I think this is a yellow card because on the replay, and maybe it's probably really tough to see this as the ball, as it's happening live, real speed. But Seba looks at him and takes at least a half step towards him, and man, the foul is called. But again, that's a dangerous play, man. I would not have argued with a yellow there either.
I would not have argued with a yellow there either for Seba. I don't know how you're going to clean that up because it happens often, and I don't know if it's about the defender having established his position and then the offensive player or the other player trying to leap over him in that situation. But I think we were fortunate to not get 2 yellows with both those plays.
Over the next, 15, 20 minutes or so, there's no lack of chances here for New York, but nothing super dangerous for Stuver. And I think as much pressure as the defense was absorbing, they did settle in and do a decent job, I think, keeping – because, again, we go this entire 90 with only the Rigoni own goal getting past Brad. So, I will give credit to the guys. If this was a team and a back line – that was still not fighting, we would have given up more than just the one own goal last night, in my eyes.
Absolutely. I mean, look, the Red Bulls, they struggle to score. They have a hard time putting the ball in the back of the net. But the way they play was just and the way we were adjusting to their press was allowing all kinds of shots from outside the box that weren't relatively too dangerous. So Brad getting those save stats up is, it's fine with me.
Yeah, sure. In 40th minute here, Luquinhas is charging towards the net, and he and Valencia come together, and there's a collision, but Sagafi waves his finger, and that becomes a theme in the second half. And just hold Valencia thoughts for a second, because I know we have a lot. 43rd minute here, Valencia plays it out to the right, trying to start the break. I was mad on the first watch, and I know you were too. I think I give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here on the rewatch. I think he had the right idea as Lima is streaking down that right side, but John Gallagher is already hugging the sideline. And I do think there was a lack of communication between those two on the play. So I think Johan had the right idea. I know what you're about to say, and I don't disagree about maybe what he could have done to take some of the space in front of him. But you kind of alluded to it earlier. I think it was a little bit awkward between Johnny and Nick that entire half, because those guys do not play next to each other like that.
No, they did not look great, and I still think it's the wrong play. Why would you want to put the ball in a situation where you have two of your offensive players occupying a very similar amount of space when you can just turn around and jog up the – I mean, he had so much green and so much daylight, and to me, that's how you beat a press like that. And the situation is usually you're going to have to win a one-on-one battle, a head-to-head, and then break that line, and we're off to the races. And in this situation, there was nobody to fucking beat. He just had to turn around and go, and I know that's not his game. I know that's not who he is, but that is not a big ask from a professional soccer player to eat up 20 yards of free space.
Sure.
And let Nicky keep going.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, if anything, that ball should have been so much farther for Nicky to run onto. You stopped his momentum.
Sure.
And of course, it was a bit disjointed on that side. It was just frustrating because it was an opportunity that I thought we could have had something come from it. It could have bore fruit. Like it was a good situation to be in.
Well, and I think absent the last 5 minutes here, because Johan comes into play in a big way here in a minute. Prior to the 40th minute, you and I were livid. I thought he looked awful because, look, we know I don't think it's fair of us to expect offensive contributions consistently from Johan Valencia. He has proven that he is not capable of being somebody that contributes in that manner. But he's got to do his work defensively, and I think be, at worst, above average. And I thought until that 40th minute, I did not think he was doing that particularly well. And then the few touches he did get on offense were poor at best. Like, you cannot turn the ball over in the spaces that he was, whether you're passing it forwards or backwards, man. Like, I know he's more of a guy who back passes, especially in this system. I don't know. Do you have any more thoughts on that? Because, again, at half, I felt I was talking with our Verde Pendant friends. I was like, man, he is not good, right? Am I crazy? And they kind of agreed. And then we'll talk about Valencia in the second half. It was like a mind-blowing turn here. But any other thoughts on him? Like, we're going to talk about him on the goal here in a second.
I mean, to know that he's not a great offensive threat is one thing. To not be able to pass the ball to your own team is a completely different thing. And, like, he has so many just sloppy turnovers and just, like, bad touches, like poor fucking traps. Like, I don't understand how that, like, it's one thing to be like, all right, we're not expecting you to beat a man and then get a nice little shot on net and hopefully we can get it past the keeper. And it's another thing to be like, hey, man, like, we just need you to pass the fucking ball to our own team so we can go forward. Yeah.
Well, again, ultimately on the night, and we'll talk about it, like, he had one of his better games probably in an Austin uniform, but it was such an uninspiring start.
It was an awful start, and I mean, it's crazy to say he was one of the best players for us at the end of the day.
Yeah, so we'll certainly give him his credit along the way here, including here in the 44th minute where, you know, New York's putting the pressure on after that turnover that he has on the sideline. And the ball's pulled back by Tolkien. He was kind of in the box on the left, gets it back towards the top of the box. And Rigoni runs in to intercept it. And at the same time, bops it long. I think it looks like he took a peek and sees Seba one-on-one with Sean Nealis. And he just puts it long. Seba gets onto it one-on-one with Nealis. And as he chases it down, there's two Red Bulls defenders recovering here. And the Austin help is further behind. And so I think Seba, really smart play here, high IQ to kind of take it towards that end line and end up crossing it off a defender to get that corner kick. And it pays off, man, because we get second to catch our breath. We get to set up this set piece off the corner. Emmy takes that corner, and he finds who else? Johan Valencia's head at the near post. He flicks it towards the back post. And with, dude, how short and squat Valencia is, like, he rarely gets his head on a ball ever, especially in a scrum like that. We've seen him get very close on corners before, but never connect like this. And it falls right to Seba, who heads it home to look, man, they stole that goal. Because we talked about, or we brought up the momentum chart against Portland last episode, right? To highlight what it looked like in the first half against them. Steal a goal like that might be an understatement. Look at this. We'll zoom in just like for full effect. Like until that goal, there is nothing from us. Absolutely nothing.
And look, I didn't like the play from Seba initially. I know we get the goal out of it, but he's our best player. He's one-on-one, and I know that guys are tracking back, but I wanted him to go right at Nealis, and I wanted him to take him and just try to get something going, because like you pull up right there, we got absolutely fucking nothing going, and you don't know that we're going to get a goal off this corner. So I was frustrated in the moment with him there. I know it ends up working in the long run. Like, we get this goal here, we steal this goal, but I wanted him to take him on one-on-one and put some pressure back on them. Like, I was so sick of just absorbing the pressure. But great flick on by Johan. Seba, right place, right time, as he has been known to do. And again, he is the only guy who can score for us.
Yeah, I mean, that was our first shot and ends up being our only shot on target. So again, thievery by Austin. At least this is what it felt like to me. And man, shout out to the traveling contingent, because they cut to the Austin fans who are going bonkers, of course. And I just thought, man, I was laughing at the way, like, Red Bull is really going to put our fans up in the top of the stadium where there is nobody in the upper deck. So like, we've got our section full, and then there's empty blue seats on either side. It's like, man, you can't like put them at the top of the lower level. Like, I don't know, like, make it look like you guys have some fans for once. And then their supporter section was meager.
It was sad.
Yeah. So we get to the half 1-1.
We're a team that has made the playoffs 13 consecutive seasons.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's like this league is just so weird, man.
Yep.
Like, this team has made the playoffs 13 fucking years in a row. They got 8 people sitting.
Yeah. Well, man, I mean, going into the half 1-1 here. I feel like I don't feel good about the play on the field, but the scoreline, I'm like, we can steal this game.
Yep, absolutely. It was ugly. We did not play our best ball. Yep. Again, who else are we gonna fucking play though? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else we're gonna do in that situation. Experimenting with Owen at the left wing back with no Lundqvist, and we clearly want to play this 5-back. Like, this is what we want to play. So we found a way to do it, and we found a way to be level at half, which, with everything that was going on in that game, I will absolutely fucking take.
Yeah. Well, I hear your buddies on Riverside there coming. Hopefully they continue on past you, you know. Out of the half, we do see the formation change. So, look, I mean, I'll give them credit for trying something different, trying to figure it out, and realizing very clearly it's not working. We need to make this change. So you do see John go to left back here. We change to the 4-3-3 on offense. Owen's up there on the right wing, and then defending in that typical 4-4-2. So kind of back to home base here, formation-wise. And I thought, go ahead.
We don't have advantageous speed up along those sidelines where you're going to be sending long balls for guys to run onto. And one of the other things that I was just particularly upset about was we allowed Token to play so far advanced in that game because these long balls over his head were never actually making him track all the way back to like go get it because Reyes is there. And to their credit with their roster build, like they have backline guys who are athletic, quick, and they're good in the air. because I would assume that, you know, this is how other teams play them. I don't watch other Red Bulls games. I don't know if I necessarily want to ever watch another Red Bulls game, given the way that they play, but they clearly make other teams uncomfortable. And to me, seeing this formational switch is a good adjustment, and it got us to the finish line with a point. And you know, I know everyone wants 3, but we got there.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of the second half will pretty much zip through. Just a couple notes here. And another discussion about our boy Johan, because highlight almost his entire highlight reel coming up here. 55th minute. The ball is pinging around in the midfield. And that was like almost this entire half is just, it's pinball.
Yep, it's 50-50 balls, and they got most of them. So
in this instance, Red Bulls comes down with it here. You've got Luquinhas and Tolkien coming down that left side, which is probably their most potent offensive option at this point of the season. Tolkien's cross in gets cleared out by a sliding Väisänen, but not very far, and Luquinhas stays on it. He finds Daniel Edelman kind of right center at the top of the box, and his shot goes just wide past a diving Stuver. One of the more dangerous chances they had in the half, but it's not on target. 3 minutes later, get the ball pinballing around again. Maxi has a clever touch here to get it over the top to Seba, who takes off down that right side. And he's got Emmy making a nice run near post and Danny coming into the area more in the center. But Seba's cross goes over everybody and out. And man, on the replay, again, hindsight is what it is, right? But if he puts that on the near post, Rigoni's got a pretty damn good chance. And if the way he's finished this year, we cannot say with any certainty he would have put it away. But you got to give your guys a chance there.
It was a bad ball, and it was an opportunity that we could have had something come from it. And let's talk about Rigoni a little bit. Obviously, the own goal was in, right? You know, and I thought overall he responded. He responded really well.
Sure.
You know, he has looked way more checked out of games where he has scored on us, you know, in the past. So I thought he responded pretty well. And look, we kept fighting until the end. So credit to Emmy for that. Tough to have that own goal. I was actually our buddy Jesse there with Pollo. You know, he's mentioned that he's going back and listening to every single episode we've done.
Which is amazing, by the way. I can't believe it.
It's incredible. And he told us the other day he was on episode 35. So I was like, oh, I'm going to, you know, jump back in there. And fucking Violette recap. And thinking about Amro Tarek's own goal and the way that he responded and what he was doing out there is one way to handle that. And the other way to handle it is the way Rigoni did. And it sucks he didn't get an opportunity here to maybe, you know, rectify the situation, feel as good about it as you possibly can. But I thought he responded well.
It's a good point. I didn't really think about that.
I mean, he didn't do much, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't point to like, oh, he, like, this was great, but like, he continued to be a part of that game.
Yes, he kept working. He did not stand out in a negative way, in my eyes, the rest of the way. And there's not much he could have done on that own goal, man. I think any of our players that are in his spot right there probably tap it in on accident, right?
It's a tough play.
Yeah. Well, 59th minute here, Danny. And so like a little bit of Austin momentum here. Danny intercepts a pass in the defensive half, and he breaks himself right down that left, gets double teamed, and is running out of space quickly. But they can't catch up to him. He wins a corner by bouncing it off the Red Bulls player. And so I thought really good individual effort here to change the field and win a set piece.
And that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for that game. And they didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? They sent a double team to him. If we had anybody else up the pitch, we could have been in a good spot. And we get the corner. So, yeah.
Well, on that corner almost finds Seba, but they end up getting it out. But you get a shot of the Austin players on the end line there, you know, warming up. And I thought it was notable. He might have just been cold, but everybody else is in their uniform, and Hector's down there with sweatpants on. And so, like, he may have just been cold, but it also, like, it gave me in the moment, I'm like, okay, well, he's not going in. Like,
he's just a coach, bro. Like,
I understand, but it's to no fault of his own. But again, just the roster, like, we're not a good enough franchise at this point to have Udonis Haslem. Like, we don't have that luxury.
I'm with threat of making myself look really fucking stupid here. Where the fuck is Sophie Jeffel?
Oh, dude. So I've seen a couple things or been told a couple things. Agent has made comments, not happy about the lack of playing time. I think he's just gone after this year. But man, like, and look, I understand that he's made in the few minutes.
I don't think he's good, but like, where the fuck is he?
Yeah, I don't know.
I hadn't heard anything about that with his agent. I was like, because I was thinking about, I was like, my trip, did we trade this man at some point?
Yeah.
Like, did we loan him out at some point in time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's like common knowledge, but that's what I heard. Yeah. Anyways, 61st minute here, you get a Drew Yearwood yellow card for raking John down the back of his ankle. That did look like it hurt. And then Yearwood comes out in the 68th for Hurtado, the 20-year-old Colombian, if I recall correctly. And then the next minute in the 69th, Coach Rios gets a yellow for protesting what sure looked like a missed call right in front of the bench. And like, I get the yellow card for the dissent from the assistant coaches, but like, and you know me, like that's tugging at my heartstrings, the assistant coach getting a yellow.
I thought it was smart.
Sure, yeah.
They were gonna take a quick throw. Like, we're all bitching about the call because it was the wrong call, but like they were ready to go. Now I don't know if he was like, doing it intentionally, but we stopped the game there. Like, they were gonna go.
But was it like, we didn't get a replay on it, right? But like it looked
was off them. It was 100% off them.
Anyway, 72nd minute here. You got Luquinhas. He goes down as he dribbles into the area from that left side against Valencia, and the Red Bulls bench and the crowd, everybody goes nuts looking for a penalty to be called. But Sagafi doesn't give it, and the replay confirms good D, good no call. And this brings the 10-minute stretch of Johan Valencia being an absolute menace.
Yeah.
And I think, man, like, we'll get into, like, I guess we just say, like, 74th minute, just another crunching tackle by Valencia that he gets cleanly. And that angers the crowd because of how close it was to the previous challenge. And then 4 minutes later, this was like maybe the most impressive tackle on the night as Manuel is approaching the Austin 18. Valencia just comes out of nowhere from behind him and boops the ball right out of there without touching Manuel. I was just like, what has gotten into this man? Like, I think from this like 15-minute stretch of Johan Valencia, if you were to like create the highlight reel of his 5 best plays in an Austin uniform, 3 of them might come from this stretch.
Yeah, he was a man possessed at this point in time. I mean, to me, the game plan had gone out the window. I texted the homies. I said, whatever the equivalent of street ball is when the NBA games just turn into a free-for-all basketball game, this is the equivalent in soccer. And he kind of got unleashed. And look, he became the aggressor in those situations. He became the guy who says, I want that fucking ball. Like, I got to go get it. And it just flipped a switch on him. And he has some just ridiculously awesome defensive plays here, which we know he can do. Like, we appreciate that about him a lot. And credit to him, because he had a horrible first half. And to be able to like respond again, a sign of players clearly not quitting on their season, their team, their manager, their teammates.
The mission. Yeah. They're trying to extend this season.
Trying to get at least one more fucking game.
Yep. Maxey gets a yellow, kind of clumsy challenge, 82nd. I mean, I think that also kind of read to me as like, I'm coming out because Zardes is ready to come in. Like, I'm coming out. I'm just going to fucking get my name in the book here. Like, bro,
please get healthy, Will Bruin. Yeah. Please. I can't watch this man. I can't watch this man out there anymore. I'm sorry. I don't like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
He's just not even out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just the scoring that's lacking this year. Like, we had multiple times, I feel like, in 2022 where we if you're only listening to the audio version, there was a nice impersonation there of me with some body language there. Man, I just remember so many times frequently last year where it was like 85th minute, Maxey's been out there the entire time pressing and sprinting and making it tough on a team's backline or a keeper. And he just doesn't have that same juice this year. And that combined with the fact that he just is no threat at all offensively. I mean, this guy last scored in the second game of the year, regular season wise, right? I'm not going to take away the goal he had against New Mexico in the Open Cup, but I think I had his stats up here. Let me see if I still have this tab.
Yeah, I was going to say, we went down to his,
he's at 961 regular season minutes this year, 10 starts, 24 appearances. He's got 1 goal on 23 shots. Only 3 of his shots have been on target. And we know from last episode, he's got 4 missed big chances. So, like, I don't know what people can point to on the pitch that Maxey has done well this season. Like, we know what he brings to the locker room off the pitch, right? He's making guys laugh. He's having the asado cookouts, etc. But, like, at some point we got to look at him on the pitch. And again, I don't know if I have much positive to say about him in terms of 2023 Maxey.
And this was a game where he could have actually been unleashed because, like you said, we're going back to Olivares. Part of the strategy with this club is to get them the ball and to make them make their decisions. And that's where he could have actually, and look, for the majority of this game, I understand that he was pushed back with our team because we had all 10 dudes back, 4 dudes in the box. Like, we were absorbing a lot of this attack. And I know that that's not where a striker wants to be. I get it. I understand. It's been an incredibly rough season for him. It's just clear as day that we're better even with Bruin out there. Like, you know what I mean? It was a debate before is it G or is it Maxey? It's like, it's G and then it's Bruin. And then Maxey's bringing up if we get hurt. So I hope Will is ready to go for Sunday.
You remember when Jassy Zardes not being good was the biggest debate we were having in this fan base at the beginning of the season?
Trust me, it's been funny listening back to all the old episodes. To dive back in and listen to what we were worried about.
83rd minute, we do get Zardes and Finley in for Maxey and Owen. And then 84th minute, Lima gets a yellow card and gets checked for a red. High boot here. Ends up the heel comes down on Luquinhas' head. I think it was Luquinhas. Might have been Amaya. But Red Bulls player who was ducking at the time. So it does go to VAR. Sagafi goes over, checks it. Very quick check. He's like, no, yellow. Let's play on. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would have been upset. Like, I don't think I would have been bitching today if that was given as a red. Like, he wasn't Nick. That was not intentional. Still dangerous, man. He caught him in the head.
Yeah, it was a dangerous play for sure. He's ducking down. I mean, it wasn't a red in my eyes.
Sure,
it wasn't.
Well, I'm sure glad it wasn't because they would have had plenty of time to get a winner there. 88th minute triple sub for Red Bull. You get Barlow and Burke, and then Peter Stroud. Yes, that is the brother of Jared Stroud. In for Fernandez and Edelman and Manuel. First minute of stoppage here. Seba goes down, and Memo ends up coming in for him. And even on the rewatch, man, like, Seba doesn't look like he's in any pain and not in a ton of discomfort. But then in the presser after the game, coach said that they're going to have to look at him. And like he was not brushing it aside as like, no, he was just tired or this or that. And so, like, I think right now for me, he is, before we see, of course, the injury report on Sunday, he is quite clearly, or not quite clearly, but he is quite questionable in my eyes. Cause like, Josh didn't dismiss it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen some people talk about the substitutions in this game, and you got to understand the schedule we're dealing with. Like, we can't bring G in at the 60-minute mark, play him 30, and then expect him to be ready to go for close to 90 on Sunday, especially if Will's not ready. We can't do that.
If Will's not ready, I want Jassy out there for 90 fucking minutes.
Absolutely. And even if it comes down to it, then move Rigoni to the 9. Like,
whatever.
Like, I'm done. So I understand that there's some frustration again, and like, everybody wants 3 points, and we want to go all out every game, and we want to be able to get 3 points every single game with our best guys out there. But it's just not the way that this league is set up schedule wise. And we got to be ready to go Sunday because, again, getting any sort of point in an away game in this league is incredibly difficult, and you have to be able to protect your home field. So Sunday looming, I understand the substitution pattern in this game. We're so limited. Again, you got Hector in sweatpants.
Yeah. Rigoni does move to the 10 here for the last 6 minutes. Memo slots in on that left wing. 2nd minute of stoppage. Austin's long throw tapped away by Red Bulls, and Valencia tries what they classified as a shot here. From about 35 yards out. It ends up in row 23. And I said that they registered as a shot, and the rare shot with a 0.0 XG. How is that a shot then? 4th minute here. Rigoni gets held on a goal kick from Stuver, and the foul gets called. And this made me upset, or at least I wanted an answer, and it didn't seem like we got one last night. Austin sets up for a set piece here, and we end up playing it short to Danny, and he just takes it to the corner. And so, like, in that regard, Danny lost the ball right away. If he's going to take it to the corner, you got to do better to hold the guys off. But like, this is the question I wanted asked the most in the presser last night. Was that a decision by the players to take it to the corner, or player if it was just Danny, or did that call come from the bench? Because where we are in this season, I don't like that mentality. Is us playing that ball in where we are setting up, we've got our guys up in the box. And at this point of the season, if you're just going to play it short and go to the corner, why is Leo up there? Why is Alex up there? Like, and why would we not? Are we really going to get beat off of this set piece not converting a goal? Are we going to get beat for the game-winning goal by the Red Bulls? I get that a point, again, like we said at the beginning of the episode, a point on the road at Red Bull just by itself is a good result for most teams. But the situation that we're in, we had an opportunity to steal all 3 points right there, and not going for it is extremely frustrating.
It was infuriating. I have no idea where that came from, and I too would love some fucking clarification on it, because it was the wrong decision wholeheartedly. Like, we draw this foul, we have a chance. We have barely created any chances this entire fucking game, and we don't just set up a play right there to put the ball into the box and see what happens. Like, again, yes, fine with the point, whatever. Like, this is a part of that point where we could have gotten to 3. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I mean, whoever's call it was, player, coach, it was the wrong call, and it was a shitty decision.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, like, I mean, you have to have at least, if we don't think that we can stop a team going 70 fucking yards on us and scoring on the last play of the game,
and we've got guys back too. Not all of our players are in the box.
Then we don't really deserve to be in the playoffs. Like, if you actually believe that about your team, where it's like, well, we don't know if we can do this fucking set piece in a dangerous area because we might get scored on. I mean, shit, we tried it in Dallas. Lundqvist dribbled to the fucking corner, turned the ball over, and then we lost at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So if anything, we actually have evidence of that being the wrong decision. It was a horrible call. I don't know what happened. And I mean, I have been on record before where I'm just like, I love Danny. Sometimes Danny just does his own thing. Like, sometimes Danny is in Danny's world, and he's just going to do whatever the fuck he wants. And I don't know if he just went rogue solo mission here.
If I had to guess, I think it is coming from the sideline. And like I said, I disagree because, and I get Brad gobbling up a shot or on a goal kick, taking his time. I get it, because we do want the point, right? Mm-hmm. But when you have the opportunity to go steal one, why would we not? I don't get it. I
truly do not get it. I would assume also, yes, a call came from the bench on that. Yeah. And I mean, you listen to coach after the game and says we're satisfied with the point. So I think that was probably part of his mindset when he made that call, if they did make that call. I wholeheartedly disagree with it.
Yep, I'm with you. One last heart palpitation here in the 7th minute of stoppage. Red Bulls win an Austin goal kick, and they head back the other way. Luquinha springs Frankie Amaya down the left, and then he crosses it, not really across the face of goal, but into the middle of the box where Tom Barlow is rushing. Luckily, Barlow can't quite get there, and Galley gets it out for a throw. And then the Red Bulls foul Austin on the throw, and that's the end of the match. But, oh, man, whatever the equivalent is of, I guess our season flashed before my eyes at that moment.
Yeah.
Because I thought Barlow was just going to poke that in and we were going to lose. But get out of there with the point. Austin now on 34 points. Again, and I don't think we can say that the results last night went our way in the Western Conference. But
it's going to be, I mean, I would be shocked if there's one night where everything goes our way with the results. You know what I mean? There's just too much matchup between all those teams that are fighting for the playoff spots. And it's kind of advantageous for us to be on the outside of it all. We broke the schedule down. It's kind of not on the outside of the playoffs.
I get
on
you.
the outside of the schedule where it's we're not playing the Minnesotas. We're not playing the fucking RSLs. We're playing the Galaxies. We're playing the Colorados. We're playing DC. So so it's I don't know if we'll ever have a night where it's oh man, yes, everything went our way, but
we'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take what we got. I mean, we got a few things that went our way last night.
61% possession for Red Bulls, 16 shots to 3 in favor of New York, 4 shots on target to just the 1. They found the back of the net. 7 corners to 3 in favor of Red Bulls, and then the XG on FOTMob's model, 1.17 for Red Bull, 0.26 for Austin. Hey, stole a point. Point.
It's happened to us. We'll take it on the other side. We'll take it when it's vice versa, man.
Yeah, and hey, boys, one big chance created, one big chance converted. Let's go. We'll take
100%.
I did want to talk about the stat from our boys at Los Nerdes Verdes put this out before the match. And man, I don't think it got enough attention, so I did want to highlight it here. Coming into last night, Red Bulls had allowed the lowest XG per game in MLS, giving up just 0.99 XG per game, and the fewest shots against per game at 6.96. Of course, both of those numbers lower now after last night. I'm not saying that Austin did well at all, but that's just a really eye-popping stat. 2 stats from this team. That 6.96 shots against per game is 3.64 shots per game fewer than the next closest team. So, this team, again, I think it again gives credence to the idea that the coaching staff had at the beginning to let Red Bull have the ball and sit back with 5 guys in that back line and be a little bit more compact. It didn't come all the way to fruition, but that's just and with those Red Bull stats, man, if they had any sort of offensive game, I feel like they'd be a juggernaut.
I mean, even if they just didn't have a bigot on their team who loved the team earlier, it's just it's the stat in itself is shocking because clearly they're in a tier of their own in regard to the shots that they allow per game.
The defense,
they exist in their own, that's their category.
Yeah.
So and then to see where they are on the table, it's just, it becomes even more shocking and just really highlights that they just can't fucking score. And I mean, they didn't score on us. We scored on ourselves. So I guess it played out how Red Bulls wanted it.
Yeah. Well, man, and again, the point on the road is great. I think just the way it happened was discouraging. The lack of being able to adjust the game plan effectively, right? It would be great to adjust the game plan and have speedy guys to run onto those long balls that we were trying to play and counteract how New York was pressing us and they were leaving Reyes and Nealis alone on that back line. Again, time has been running out and it continues to run out on this team. It does not, clearly, even if we lose on Sunday, we're not mathematically eliminated. You don't win on Sunday, you are eliminated by all intents and purposes, in my opinion. I just, you have to win this upcoming match. And then a couple more, but it starts with one, right?
Yeah. If you don't get this one, then there is no conceivable path.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the LA Galaxy, our opponent this coming Sunday. of course, the history between these two teams, 1-1 in our inaugural season, the 2-0 loss on the road early in that year, and then the 2-0 upset win at home with the Gite goal and the McKenzie Gaines goal. What a night that was. Last year, 0-2 against this team. The 1-0 loss at home, the early goal that gets past Tarbell, the Galaxy see it out, and then the 4-1 ass whooping out there in Carson last year. And we scored the first goal in that one as well, only to give up 4 unanswered. And then earlier this year on April 22nd, 2-0 loss on the road, Chicharito and Ricky Pooch, the goal scorers in that one. But the Galaxy have struggled, to say the least, this year. They do have a game in hand on Austin, but they are sitting a point back. They have now lost Chicharito, Jalen Neal, Gaston Brugman, Martin Caceres, and Lucas Caligari to season-ending injuries. Of course, they did bring in Billy Sharp, who last night had a hat trick, and Diego Fagundes during the summer transfer window. Diego with the game-winning goal as the Galaxy were a man up against Minnesota at that point of that match last night. So I don't think we can say that this team is surging. They have 5 points from their last 4 league matches. But this is a team that can and very well may come in and beat us. I still look, and again, like we said last time, what are we doing here? How can we possibly feel good about this team? Look, man, I think it's just we are cornered right now, and we're about to see what this team is at our core, what we're made of.
Yep.
You have to come in here and get 3 points, and I know that's fucking surface level analysis there, but it is what it is coming into this weekend. This is the most must-win game that we have seen maybe in our club's history, again, because we were not fighting for the playoffs in the first year. We were not fighting for the playoffs last year. We were in. We were worried about, can we keep the 2 seed, right? And so I'm not putting in, obviously, knockout matches in the playoffs are different. This match here, especially with the emotional sideshow that's going to go on, God, it's going to be a wild night.
It is going to be a wild night. It's going to be Zach Graham's birthday bash, baby.
Yeah, it is.
So you're going to be even extra wild. I was talking to a couple buddies last night, and they were like, "Oh man, Zach, he's not going to have to drive home." Like, you're going to learn today. Look, man, this Galaxy team. We were talking about them because obviously I watched the LAFC LA Galaxy game, the El Trafico, the other night, and I hit you up and I said, "Look, man, this team's more talented than us. They have better players. They have deeper players. Ricky Pooch is a great player. Bringing in Billy Sharp, this motherfucker, is a goal scorer.
Imagine having that guy to cross too.
Yeah, God. And I mean, look, we miss Diego. We love Diego. No one ever said Diego got traded because he was a bad player.
Has anybody made the argument that was it, or that we got better? We were going to be a more talented team. I think everybody said, not just us. Everybody said the ceiling of the team comes down.
Correct.
But yeah, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No. So he's in the mix as well. They have Douglas Costa. They have Joveljic, who obviously has been
now he's been relegated
this year. Has been not. What's that?
He's been relegated now with Sharp there. Like Joveljic is off the bench again. Yeah.
So he has not been good, but he plays. Every time I see him play us, he fucking kills us. So he's on my players to watch list because he's done it to me before. Yeah. They're talented. They are obviously also in this must-win scenario game. They need these fucking points just as badly as we do. So it's going to be a fun game. And at some point, I could see this just being the game plan is out the window. You got to go out there and win a fucking soccer game. And I hope that we have the right energy as fans to support this club in this dire stretch and situation that we're in like you said, for the first time we find ourselves in the heat of a highly contested playoff race. So it's exciting. So I hope that we can be there for our boys, encouraging them, cheering them on. I know that there's going to be some emotion with Diego. I think the wound that opened up after he was initially traded has somewhat closed. I don't think it's as raw anymore.
Sure.
So I could see there still being some sort of, outcry or outpouring of Diego sentiment, anti-Austin FC sentiment. But
which is bullshit, by the way.
Of course, it's bullshit. This isn't Diego Fagundes FC, man. Like
exactly.
Everyone is bombed.
He doesn't fucking play for us anymore.
Yeah, he's not on our team anymore. It is what it is. So I hope we have the right energy for this game.
Look, and here are the two things that are true and that every Austin FC fan, in my opinion, should be living by on Sunday. We love Diego. We're going to give him love before the game. We're going to give him love after the game. During those 90-plus minutes, fuck the LA Galaxy.
Yeah.
We are Austin FC fans.
Yeah.
Okay?
Whoever's wearing their jersey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ricky Pooch leads them in goal contributions, 6 goals, 8 assists. Billy Sharp tied for the lead now between he, Pooch, and Tyler Boyd on 6 goals. Again, in 2 starts and 6 appearances.
I forgot about Boyd, too.
Yep.
Who's a good player.
He's been good. Yeah. 3 assists as well for Tyler Boyd. Let's talk about us real quickly before we close this segment out. Just injuries, right? I think nothing new for us on it. Like, we hope that Lundqvist or Hedges or even Kip can be available. I don't think we see any of that trio start just because they were clearly out for good last night. I don't think it was super close. We do get Julio back, which, look, and I know a lot of people love to shit on Julio, but we're a lot better with Julio out there compared to what we ran out there last night. And it frees Alex up to be in the fucking midfield, which we need. We need him out there in that midfield battling, especially in this game.
Absolutely. And if we're going to play that box style mid, like, he's got to be a part of that.
Yeah. So I think Jassy starts clearly.
Yep.
I want to see Ethan Finley. He's come off the bench however many games in a row now. Let's give Finley another shot to bring his juice into this starting lineup. His experience, how many of these type of games has he been in? Right? Like, I want that experience out there. Any other takes for you? Like, fucking Johnny and Nick, man. Iron Men at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is for them. I just really hope that Julio had a time to just, like, catch his breath, rest his body, and come back ready, full tilt for this game on Sunday. Other than that, I don't see anything that we can change with this lineup, with the 11 that I would want to see. Like we said, I need G for 90 minutes, or I need G, and then I need Rigoni at the 9. And, I mean, even if we have to go dual striker because we're down, whatever we got to do. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a game, man. It's going to be a memorable night for the Austin FC fanhood.
Yep. All right, score predictions. I'm going to go first this time. We're going to switch it up. Maybe that gives us some good wooju. I'm going to go, and this is assuming Seba plays. 3-1 Austin. 3-1 Austin with number 10 out there. I refuse to think about the scenario with him out on Sunday. So what do you got? How much? Come on, this can't be the first time you predict an Austin FC draw or loss.
I'm going to go 3-1. Austin.
Oh, you fucker.
just because I knew that's what you were trying to avoid. No, fuck it. I'll go 3-1. The Zach Graham birthday special, baby. Let's fucking party. Let's have a wonderful evening.
All right.
One goal for Diego?
Nah, fuck that.
Okay.
Nah, Ricky Pooch. Come on, fantasy points.
You're asking for a lot, man.
It's my birthday. Come on.
You ain't that special.
All right, 3-1 for both of us. We'll see everybody. 8:30 p.m. is the scheduled kickoff. It's a national game. 8:55 actual kickoff. There's your PSA for today. Let's talk to Pollo here. We did this is pre-recorded, but we talked to the legendary Pollo. We talked to Pollo FC, his handlers, managers, security, all of the roles that our boys play there with Pollo. And then Aggie from the Fighting Leslies also joined us, and they were actually at the Burn It Go-To there by the stadium, which I found out was owned by a Fighting Leslies member there. So I would encourage, that is an Austin owned business there by an Austin FC fan. So Burn It Go-To. Feel free to go patronize them. I know we will down the road, knowing that now. So I'll drop the link to their website in the show notes as well. You can always find the links down there in the podcast show notes or on the YouTube channel. So let's talk to Pollo. All right, everybody. We teased it last episode. We talked about it earlier. This episode, we are pleased to be joined by not only Aggie from the Fighting Leslie's Drinking Club, but Pollo and Pollo FC. We've got Trevor, we've got Jesse, and we've got the legendary Chicken. Boys, welcome to the North End.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys.
So, obviously, we're here to talk about the Fighting Pollo Pills, the beer collab between you guys. But we want to kind of talk about, like we do when we have guests on the pod, we want to talk a little bit of the background. And so maybe not all the background for you guys, but the background on like how this came together. And I know, we got to participate in the introductory press conference a few weeks ago. And I think Ian had a question about that because he was kind of right in the mix there over by the Moon Tower boys. So I'll toss it to E to start things off.
Yeah, Pollo, I was a little curious, man. There seemed to be some tension between you and Jeremiah. What's the beef, or rather, what's the chicken there?
Ooh, that's not.
Yeah.
We cut that one, guys.
Yeah, I don't know if we can say that on air.
Maybe we'll just cut that out. I don't think it's.
Sure. We can keep it moving, Pollo. Pollo, you try to keep things level. I know you're excited about the release party and such, and we'll get there. But first, obviously, all of you guys and Pollo as the lead are staples of the supporter section at Q2. You guys are right there with La Murga. So if I could, just from each of you, what are your favorite tracks to hear on game day from La Murga?
Verde Negro always.
Yeah?
As soon as that starts, that thing always hits.
Feeling it? What about you, Jesse?
Gosh, probably one of the new ones, the new Dale Austin that we've got. That was a vibe,
Yeah.
It definitely is contending with level of Pepas from last year, but the positivity that Pepas was with it, kind of hard to beat that. But this Dale Austin is pretty fire.
Yep. What about you, Aggie?
Over the world.
I should remember the name better, but I like the one, Tengo aguante, aguante. Which one is that?
A staple.
Oh, God, I put him on the spot. Sorry.
Negro.
Yeah, same one.
It's the same one.
Oh, is that the same one? Is that yours?
That's
Yeah,
the banger.
I like that one. That's
My mind is scattered because we did the canning this morning, and I am just like so excited. I went to pick up my dog before this, and I was like driving onto the highway, and I was like, "Oh crap!" And I had to turn around because I'm like, "God, I'm picking up the dog," and I called the group. I'm like, "I'm on the way. I'm sorry."
So, speaking of that, you said you guys were getting the cans ready and everything this morning. A lot of merch coming along with it. Let's talk about the collab, and we'll talk about the release party that's coming up. But first, Aggie, maybe you can start off here. Talk a little bit about how you guys met, because obviously it's two groups coming together, the Fighting Leslie's and Pollo FC, for this collaboration. So how'd you guys meet, and how'd we get to this point where you guys are so tight that you're coming together for something like this to benefit the community?
We met kind of like a lot of the original SG stuff. It was just organic, we were thrilled and loving everything, and we were doing our best as an outside group to some degree to meet everybody and be a part of what was going on. Ended up meeting a lot of people more at the end of that first season, when we were putting all the home games together, and a lot in that off season when Javi was doing his film, Passion Verde. And the release of that into the second season really kicked in. And we all hit it off real well. I mean, I think there's a similarity between the two groups that is, we just want to enjoy being fans. We're glad this thing is here. I'm from Austin. I've never had a professional thing, that held my allegiance. And so, yeah, it's a bummer when the team sucks or things aren't going the way you want it. But the reality is you get 90 minutes to get away from everything else. And we are just thrilled that it's here. I think we all saw similarity in wanting to have fun and enjoy it, but also to do something with that. You know, there is energy and in the town around this. And so if you can use that to give back and do some good also, you know, I think that was something we shared, and we just kind of hit it off. And
continuing to interject the weirdness of Austin into the future of Austin.
There is that.
Leslie was definitely not what people would classify as a normal,
for sure.
Weird one. And Pollo is
feels like you got a sidekick,
I like to call them the farm team. Like they'd probably be what we were like 30 years younger.
Yeah.
You know, so I like to call the Pollo guys the farm team for FLDC.
Yeah. Well, and just notable, you guys are very much on brand coming to us, sipping some brews at the bar here today. So it's, you're staying true to the mission there.
I mean, I love the collab. I think it is a true testament to like what makes this club special, our fans, and like the fact that y'all can come together with some creative ideas and like launch this beer, and it's going to be beneficial to the people here in Austin. I think it's incredible. The artwork and stuff is amazing. So if you guys want to touch on the release party coming up that I may or may not be able to attend.
We've heard rumors.
There's Pollo. That's two Pollo.
So did he say? Can we say that on the air?
I think we can translate it maybe to sissies.
He said something about poker is for sissies.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
And then
something.
Not how I raised him, though.
He's got a different mindless activity with no skill. I think something about skill, and
that's the nice way to say it.
And look, what if I come back up with some money? Some winnings. Like buy a couple beers, I do well down there.
Oh, grandma! Something about a grandmother's basement.
Pollo, I mean,
we hope he will bring a lot of money to the event and buy a bunch of beer. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, it works out like that.
Have the poker game in the tap room. Yeah, there we go.
I pitched it, boys. I did. I took some heavy flack for it. But yeah, tell the people about the release party and what's going on with that.
So just got news actually yesterday that it's going to be the party. We're going to have Murga. We're going to have
hell yeah.
We're going to bring everybody out. We're going to have a big old shindig. It seems like this stuff's going to be sold out before we even open the doors. So I think we're advertising at 7 o'clock. I would say come at like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I don't know. Maybe.
Get in line early.
It's going to be the Colorado game.
Yep.
Luckily, there's a little contingency driving, flying there, so you can at least avoid a little bit of the crowd. But it seems like there's going to be a pretty good turnout, and I'm very excited about it. We're going to have some cool like crafts, and we're going to try to do it a little different than typical. Just try to have fun with it, and not really.
Yeah.
I think we're planning on there's some people in the community that we're going to set up. I think like an art table.
Do stuff
have some games,
chalk,
kind of like a family friendly. Some sidewalk chalk, and let's see what we can do and just make it kind of a fun event for everybody.
Nice. Well, and it's not just going to be obviously the beer is what we're all there for. But there's going to be some merch along with it. Like I see, it looks like there's a nice little Fighting Pollo Pills koozie there. Can we get that kind of stuff at the party?
Yep. There's koozies. There's tank tops. What else did he print? Stickers. There's regular shirts that are like tie-dye. There's all sorts of stuff.
Nice.
Dude, I love the design.
I mean, there was more things coming that he was like, bananas. Like, there's just so much stuff. And I'm just so appreciative that they jumped full in and were like, let's do everything. And he was like apologizing about some of the stuff, even of like, sorry, we couldn't do this and this. I'm like, don't apologize to me. If we made 3 beers, I'd be super stoked. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So, all of the proceeds are going into the Community First Village down there. They're doing amazing stuff. And so the community again, touching that aspect, going to a different part of the city that's not even necessarily soccer, and just presenting just new aspects to this group and trying to just broaden this. And just doing good always makes you feel good. It's just the way to be.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Stay young.
No question.
Then you can
No
eat
question.
terrible food, which takes years away, and you can drink takes you away, and then you eat good, and then it kind of adds. So it's kind of
You got a good system here. That's a good
Balances out, right?
It feels good.
It's like nothing happened, man. It's like, okay.
And to be fair, like Trevor was saying, you know, we definitely have to thank Austin Beerworks. I mean, they have jumped in with both feet and allowed us the opportunity. And they were also very particular about where we were funding this project, or what we were funding this project for. And so the community first aspect was definitely something they were pushing, which worked out really for us and our group. And they have just been, they're very excited. I was there with Trevor this morning Canning, and they're just really stoked and looking forward to a good event. And we just have to be really grateful and thank them along the way as well.
Awesome. Well, we're super excited. I know, like you guys said, it's going to be a huge crowd. It's going to be a fun time, and again, all for a good cause. So, boys, anything else you want to add before we get out of here and just see you guys at the watch party in about 8 days, 9 days?
Pollo did tell me he had a little bit of a good time in the North End, so
that's right.
Spend some time there again.
Always welcome. Always welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll have to start touring the stadium.
Yep. I've been telling
about that before.
We have.
Make this happen.
Excellent.
All right, boys.
Bring him to
Aggie, Trevor, Jesse, Pollo. We appreciate you guys stopping by and appreciate what you guys are doing for the community. And Pollo, man, you got it. Look, when we're live on air, sometimes we got to tone it down. We'll work on that. All right, we'll work on that.
We have to work on that. Hey, thanks for having us, guys.
Hey, cheers.
Hey, cheers, y'all.
Cheers, boys. Appreciate it. Man, I'm super excited for that watch party. And another note about that, 7:30 on the 30th is Houston and Dallas. So we will also we could potentially, the biggest air quotes you could imagine, we could potentially win the Copa Tejas during the watch party. So we'll certainly be keeping our eye on our Texas rivals on that night.
What's the result we need?
A draw. Yeah, and Houston will be coming off. I believe both teams play midweek matches. I think Dallas against Philly, and Houston in Miami for the Open Cup final.
Where is the game?
In Houston. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe something going really well for us could happen at some point this season.
Look, man, I will celebrate that Copa Tejas. I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. I want that at this point.
Yeah.
Let's talk last business day here. Decision day coming up this Sunday. That match is at 4 p.m. Central up in the DFW area, taking on North Texas SC. That is, of course, FC Dallas's next pro franchise. And I heard this on Moon Tower yesterday or 2 days ago, where Landon and our buddy Mike Cornola was filling in for Jeremiah. Apparently, there are some brave souls, because you can make this work. 4 p.m. in DFW, go to the game, 8:55 kickoff in Austin, come back. They said on Moon Tower there may be people both doing that as a drive or flying back here to make it back for the match. So salute to anybody doing that.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, get Austin FC fan crown there, I think, if you're pulling.
Yeah, that's a level up right there. You advance in the fanhood if you're able to pull that off.
So taking on North Texas, we've only faced each other once this season, if I recall correctly. That was the 3-0 Austin FC2 victory back on April 12th of this year. All 3 goals coming in the first 13 minutes with a Val Noel brace and then an AOC goal to put the icing on that cake. Looking back, let me make sure if I'm looking at our fixtures here that I didn't miss another one. I don't think we have played up there this year, and just clicking through our schedule, that appears to be correct. So checking out the table, we know what's up here. right? Can't get the 1 or the 2 anymore. A win or a shootout win will clinch the 3 seed for Austin FC and give us a 3-team pool to choose our first round opponent from. A shootout loss or a loss will push us, most likely into the 4 seed, because Sporting KC 2 points behind us, St. Louis City 3 points behind us. Those 2 teams will play each other. So we could lose. And if St. Louis City 2 won a shootout there, we would still on 49 points be above both of those teams. So again, decision day in Next Pro. A lot on the line here in terms of our seeding and just how long we could be hosting home matches in these Next Pro playoffs. I think the other biggest question for me at this point is Damian Loss going to be in net, or is he going to be the guy that plays on Sunday and then is flown back to Q2 Stadium to be on the bench? Like, we'll find out.
His Denny Bouanga story begins. Yeah, it's exciting, man. This is great. You know, you got an interstate rival here. They're definitely going to want to spoil our party. So let's not allow them to do that. David getting back into form. Need something out of EJ. That's what I'm looking for this game. I need something good out of EJ, baby, because obviously he's not CJ. But if we can get something really positive out of him, I think that this is a surefire win.
Well, how much is Austin FC 2 winning by here on Sunday and clinching that 3rd seed? What do you got?
I got a 2-0 win. 1 goal from EJ, 1 from David.
All right, I like it. I'm gonna go 1-0. We've slowed down a little bit over the last few games. You know, tough stretch here to end the season, but finishing it off with 3 points would be the best way possible to go into this first Next Pro playoffs jaunt. So 4 p.m. Central on Sunday. Looking forward to it and cheering for the boys. All of us are. Let's close it out with the nonsense here. Little best ball update. We talked about, over the weekend, Texas Ring of Fire took down week 28 of best ball. We extended that lead on Moon Tower, though, from 1st to 2nd. And then in week 29, the midweek games, Northern Podcast up top, 57 points behind 18 from the hat trick of Cucho Hernandez, 13 from Jesus Ferreira. We don't even get to count our 12 from Timu Puki because, not our top 2 scoring forwards. 57 points. Moon Tower right on our ass, though, 56 points. They get 13 apiece from Bongi and Hanny. They also get 11 from Ache Ache. We are Austin TV in 3rd with 40 points on the week. They get 16 from Robert Taylor and 10 from T. Parker. Texas Ring of Fire, tough. Messi goes out early. 33 points on the week. They were led by 9 from Joao Paulo and 8 from Lucho Acosta. So looking at the full table through 29 weeks of scoring, we've got North End Podcast 1343, Moon Tower 2nd 1332. That's going to come right down to decision day for us too, I think. 1229 for We Are Austin TV in 3rd, and then 1174 for Texas Ring of Fire. And then the bets, again, maybe the season's still not great, but 5 of the last 6 we have profited. We miss on Austin plus 300, LAFC plus 150. They got a draw with St. Louis. Philly plus 165. They draw. And then SKC loses at home. That was minus 120. But Miami, even with Jordi Alba and Messi leaving that one early, the 2-unit hammer, Miami minus 255, that comes through. Seattle plus 155. They get the win against Colorado. Dallas plus 300 at RSL comes through. We love to see that. If Dallas is going to win, might as well get us 3 units on the way. And then Seba's goal, that was plus 150 on the road. So the sportsbook's starting to give Seba his respect, I think, with how much he's been scoring lately. I'll be interested to see what his odds are to score this next week at home, or weekend rather, at home.
What's he at, 10 now?
What's that? Yeah, 10 total goals. 10 total goals for Driussi. I believe that is now, I think he's tied for 13th in the boot race. 15 is pole position right now. But you look at a guy like Daniel Gazdag, I believe on 13 goals. 11 from the fucking spot. Like, that's just, it's just a little bit different than some, like, to me, the best goal scorer in the league right now, taking Messi out of it because Messi is the best everything.
Yeah.
Yorgos Yakumakis, 14 goals. He's second in the boot race. No PKs. He doesn't take PKs. That is a pure goal scorer. You know I love me some Yorgos.
How do they have – he has 11 PK goals?
Yeah. Yep.
How many have they taken this season?
11 probably.
What are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can we learn what he does?
The sorcery for them to get all these PK calls.
Wow.
Well, let's start it off. I'll start it. I'm going to Seba. Don't tell me the odds. We'll find out when they post them. Shit, man. If he's plus 150 on the road to score, he might be close to even odds at home this Sunday. Hopefully he plays. Fingers crossed. Knocking on all the wood, all that jazz. I'll toss it to you. Where are we going first on your week 34 betting card?
He's got to play.
I hope so.
He has to play. I don't even want to think about it. We ain't going far, baby. We're going to the Q.
Yep.
Boston. Minus 120.
Favorites.
Galaxy. Very interesting line. We talked about it earlier this morning. I was just like, what a testament to how difficult it is to win on the fucking road that we're minus 120 at
Yeah.
So, yeah, lock that in, baby. Let's do this.
Yep. I'm going to go to the perfect bet. Dallas hosting the Columbus Crew. They're plus 155 at home. Come on, Cucho. Another hat trick. And if he doesn't get it, we'll take the plus 155 from Dallas. So that's my second pick. What do you got next?
I got FC Cincinnati at home, minus 165, hosting Charlotte. We're going to put a 2-unit hammer on it.
Oh, the hammer. All right. I like it. I'm going to go to SKC. They're hosting Houston. And after Houston, big win last night without Coco Carrasquilla, who was suspended. I expect some heavy rotation here from Houston with the Open Cup final coming up midweek next week. So SKC minus 105. They also need wins. They're right there with us, just outside looking in at the wild card. So got SKC minus 105 against Houston. Lock it in. I believe you have one more.
Indeed. I'm going to go a little bit of a narrative and a little bit of playing a nice line. We got Nashville at plus 220 at San Jose. Would go a long way for the units, would go a long way for the club. So let's do it, Nashville. You hooked us up last night. Thank you.
Did.
Yeah, thank you, Mukhtar.
Yep. All right, NFL special. Your probation has been lifted, but you issued the NFL picks on this episode. You say you don't – what do you say about those?
I don't give those out for free, baby.
Okay.
Find my shadow account, DM me, then Venmo me.
Well, I'll continue to give out the ZG teaser specials here. 2 for 2 on the season, trying to make it 3 in a row. We've done 2 3-team 7-point teasers to start the NFL season. We're going to extend it to a 4-teamer here. First one is tonight, Thursday Night Football. San Francisco at home hosting the New York Giants. They're 9.5-point home favorites. We're going to tease them down to 2.5. That's the first leg there. Baltimore home to the Colts. 8.5-point home favorites. We're getting them down to 1.5. And then give me the Chiefs at home against the Chicago Bears, who have looked awful, who have a eyebrow-raising scandal bubbling up around their team and their coaching staff right now. Chiefs, 11.5-point home favorites. We get them down to 4.5-point home favorites. And then I'm going to go to the Cowboys on the road. They're taking on the lowly Cardinals, But I don't know if you saw, as we were recording, Trayvon Diggs tore his ACL today in practice. That is not going to take me off this pick, but that is a huge blow to this Cowboys defense. So I think they will still be fine, but there's no arguing that lowers their ceiling defensively.
Yeah, and it sucks. He's a fun player.
Yep, absolutely. So Dallas, 10.5-point road favorites here. We're getting them down to 3.5 on the road against Arizona. So San Francisco, Baltimore, Dallas, KC, all in a 7-point tease. That is plus 180. So there's your NFL special for the week 34 betting picks. And alongside those, E's got Austin minus 120 hosting the Galaxy, Cincinnati minus 165 hosting Charlotte FC. That's a 2-unit hammer. And Nashville on the road at San Jose plus 220. I've got Seba to score. I've got FC Dallas plus 155 hosting Columbus, and SKC minus 105 at home hosting the Orange team. Those are the week 34 betting picks. And that will wrap up episode 92 of the North End podcast. If you've got 5 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, we would greatly appreciate it. And if you've got a buddy, you guys watch Austin FC together, they like podcasts, turn them on to the North End podcast. Make sure we're in all of your friends' content rotations. Help us grow the pod. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. That helps. It goes a long way to growing the pod on that platform. You can hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And of course, on this episode, hit that thumbs up, like the video, help us battle those YouTube algorithm overlords, atone for your sins, wash yourselves clean in the birthday waters of the North End. We will be back on Monday, recapping Austin FC's matchup against the Galaxy, recapping Decision Day in Next Pro, talking the nonsense and everything else in between. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll hope to catch you back here on Monday. Enjoy the end of your week. Have a good weekend, and we'll see all of our friends at Soccer Church at Q2, hopefully not headed to church for a funeral. Until then, he's E. I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.